Every science has its law. Economics is a science. So there are many laws in economics. Law of demand is one of the basic, one of the fundamental laws of economics. What is law of demand? According to Professor Marshall, other things being equal, a rise in the price of the product leads to fall in demand and vice versa. It means law of demand expresses inverse relationship between price of the product and demand for product. Price rises, demand falls. Price falls, demand rises. Same thing we can explain with the help of market schedule, market demand schedule and the graph or the diagram. As we observe from demand schedule that here price of the product and here demand for the product. When price of the product is 5 rupees per unit, 10 units are demanded. When price falls from 5 to 4, demand for the product rises from 10 to 50. It means it expresses, it indicates inverse relations. Now we can explain the same thing with the help of diagram. Here you can observe x-axis represents quantity demanded, y-axis represents price of the product. And this demand curve DD indicating functional relationship between price of the product and demand for the product. How we can understand law of demand with the help of a graph. Suppose original price of the product is OP, original demand for the product is OD, or quantity demanded is OD. Suppose price falls from OP to OP1, demand for the product rises from OQ to OQ1, falls or rises. The curve, the law of this DD curve is a downward sloping curve, expresses inverse relationship between price of the product and demand for the product. We have all studied in mathematics, any curve which slopes downward always expresses inverse relationship between x and y. Now, what are the characteristics of law of demand? First characteristics we already discussed. There is an inverse relationship between price of the product and demand for it. Second, and very important, that a law of demand expresses that it indicates functional relationship between price of the product and demand for the product. In mathematical term, we can D is a function of P. And in mathematical parallels, what is function? Function always expresses functional relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. In our example, price P is an independent variable, demand for the product is a dependent variable. Or in other words, we can say the changes in price is a cause and changes in demand is an effect. Okay, so it expresses functional relation. Last, very important, according to Professor Marshall, other things being equal, laws of economics are essentially hypothetical. So here law of economics, law of demand, the functional relationship or inverse relationship between price and demand can be maintained only when other factors remain constant. So their third characteristics is assumption of other factors remaining constant. Price falls, demand rises. Price is rise, demand falls. But it happens when other factors remain constant. Suppose price of the product X increase from 10 rupees to 15 rupees. Demand कम होना चाहिए. But at the same time, the income of a person increased from rupees 35,000 per month to rupees 50,000 rupees per 50,000. So even at higher price, he will demand more, he will consume more. Why? Because with rise in income, why? His purchasing power increases. Now he is able to purchase more. So higher price, higher demand. Okay, so these factors should remain constant. Price of substitutes, price of complementary, taste preference, habits of consumer, expectation regarding price variance. These are all factors which remain constant. The relationship between price and demand can hold good only when these factors remain constant. Thank you.